In my last video on again an improvement, I saw an improvement in the dark static. It became smoothed out more and undulated with my eyes closed. Red shower static still being behind it. And the blue field effect improved in that I could see it on white backgrounds on a computer screen. And it would go a much greater distance. Before it was 1.5 to 2 millimeters before, and now it's going up to 4 or 5 inches. Since then, I've gone on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, on again, off again, on 5 times. And as a result, I have some significant improvement. Now, the blue field effect, we're gonna define this in 3 different areas: bright sunshine outside, inside in a dim room, and with my eyes closed at night trying to get sleep. So I'm grouping blue skies and white backgrounds on computer screens. Things are different than I thought they would be. Now, with the blue sky and bright day with a cloudy sky, I'm seeing the blue field effect. I'm seeing shimmering, and my static itself is greatly reduced. I'll either see it as, if I focus just right, it's more of a kind of like when you look at a fluorescent light and then look away, you see that white blob or white stick in front of you. And it's like that, but in reverse. It's dark and it can be a pattern that's spaced apart. And if it was going across my vision, it would go about this slow. And it's out of focus and it's very, very faint. Or I'll see a white static on the background. The blue field effect is still in effect. It's not traveling as far in a blue sky as it would be on a blue screen. And it's slower and there's more of it. And I think when we finally get that widened out, the blue field effect will just go away. When the veins get wide enough out that the white blood cells are not dragging on the inside of them. The other thing is the shimmering. Now, if you see the fuzzies, you look at a white piece of paper or a white background on a computer screen, and then you look at text. And if the text is, say, 12 pica and it's a paragraph, there's a whole bunch of movement just around the text. And the closer the high contrast lines are to each other, the sharp lines and the dark text with white background, the more annoying the shimmering is. Where if you look at the straight piece of paper or white background, you see a little bit of the shimmering, but the static is massively overpowering that. Well, my bulk of my static is gone with the white background. I have the blue field effect and I have shimmering around the text, and I have a small, very, very, very small amount of static actually on the screen in front of me. The shimmering is more, it's still there, and it still prevents my dyslexia from not being dyslexic. On the blue sky, if I look at something with a pure blue sky, I'll see the shimmering and I'll see the blue field effect. And if I look at a building, for instance, in certain lighting conditions, pretty much everything still has some shimmering on it. But if I look at, say, a car that hasn't been washed in a while, the shimmering is gone. And depending on the lighting conditions and the color of the car, the blue field effect is gone. So there are certain things I look at and the blue field effect is completely gone and the static is completely gone. Most things still have a small amount of shimmering to a lot of shimmering. So if you look like one of those green, what used to be a copper roof where they have the banding going across it, and there will be horizontal banding in there that's going horizontal to it in the form of shimmering. Blue field effect still has it, the blue skies still have it, and the white and the cloudy skies still have it. But it's much, much, much less than it used to be. So on a computer screen, I see the static a little bit, and I see the shimmering and the blue field effect. So the shimmering is still preventing my dyslexia again. Now, if I go into a dim room, the static is still there, but it's less than it has been before. And with my eyes closed, I see in my previous video, I had the large undulations. Well, those have flattened out a great deal, and they're slower still, and they seem to be flatter still. The red shower static is still behind it, but it's dimmer. So that has improved as well. So it's improvement across the board. And also, one other thing, the red shower static, I can now, if I focus just right, I can see the red shower static has white static in a blue sky. It has to be right color blue, but I can see it there as well. So that's very, very encouraging. Now, what have I done to what has gotten me here? Well, it's cycling. Cycling is the key. So what we're doing here is trying to widen out the veins. We're not concerned about fighting edema or high blood pressure or seizures. What we're trying to do is widen out the veins. And getting up to medication is only reason we do that is to see if we're having allergic reactions. Lamictal is a seizure medication and it builds up in your system, but we don't care. One thing I've learned about this is that most amount of change happens in the first couple of days cycling back on. Now, what do I mean by cycle? I go 100, 250, then 400 on Lamictal. And when I get to 250, I go on to 20 Lasix and 180 Verapamil. Now, those, I stay on that, and then when I stop seeing change, which I'm staying on 4 days, going off for 5 days after I go down on Lamictal. And Lamictal, I'm at 400 on the last day. I go down to 200 and then 100, and then I'm off. Then I wait 4 or 5 days. And 3 or 4 or 5 days after I cycle off, I get improvement, a little tiny bit. So I do see a change after I'm off the medications. So building up the Lamictal in your system is pointless. So I've cycled 5 times and I'm back on again. So this makes it my 6th cycle. And it really, the cycling is what we're looking for. We don't care about the building up in your system. Zappe, zappe!
This has been a Poofy Hair production.